till you guys see my costume. Like, all of this is gonna make sense. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am Letitia, and this is That's So Letitia. And to all of my new viewers, supporters, subscribers, welcome, guys, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy the content. And to all of my returning viewers, supporters, and subscribers, welcome back, guys. And as always, it is a pleasure to see you. Without further ado, let's jump right into this video. And for today's video, get ready with me for a Halloween party. It took me forever to find the costume. I have the costume. I have the makeup idea in mind. Let's hope I can pull it off. I've already moisturized my face, nice and glistening. I've already did my skincare. So now we're just going to go in with our primer. Primer I'm going to use for this look. This is the Secure the Sweat by One Size. So yeah, I have found my costume. That was a huge issue of mine on my last video, simply because I don't really do Halloween. But I was invited to my sister's Halloween party, and she's like, look, I love you, but you cannot come in my house on this evening if you do not have a costume on. It's costume only, right? So as much as I tried to get out of it, she's like, no, ma'am. She's like, no, ma'am, everyone's wearing a costume. You have to find one. So I did, and it's quite cute, I must say. So I'm excited to see how well this makeup look that I have in my mind, I can actually pull off. And maybe you guys can get some tips or tricks if you too are trying to come up with a cute, like, Halloween makeup look or Halloween costume or what have you. I was out at the store, and it wasn't that I wasn't looking. All of the costumes for women, I'm like, seriously? They had costumes that were, you know, the traditional nurse and witch and doctor and police officer and firefighter, but everything looked like it should have been on a exotic dancer. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just not my vibe. So I was struggling, and what I just used for my under eye concealer, this is Huda Beauty's Faux Filter Color Corrector in Papaya. And now I'm going to use for my lower face, this is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in Pumpkin. So yeah, because of those limitations, it was rather difficult, and might I add, a bit stressful to try and find a costume that was cute, comfortable, and in my opinion, I mean, I'm married, I'm older, I don't want to be cold at night, since this is when the party is going to be, you know, warm. That was definitely one of my top things on my list, was that it had to be warm. And I think I have found the perfect costume. I am excited to see how the look in terms of makeup comes together with the costume. And now I'm just going to set the color corrector using Instant Retouch Setting Powder by Fenty Beauty. This is in shade Nutmeg. I have been dreading trying to find a costume, just because, again, I haven't worn one in years. I mean, when I say years, I'm talking double-digit years. And when I went to multiple stores, either they did not have any good costumes, or, like I said, they were adult themed. So yeah. And the foundation I am going to use, this is by One Size Turn Up the Base Full Beat Liquid Foundation. This is in dark, deep 25 and for neutral. And I'm going to apply it using my e.l.f. Cosmetics Ultimate Blending Brush. And now for concealer, I'm going to use Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in shade Chestnut. And now to blend out the concealer, I'm going to use a damp beauty sponge. Second concealer is by Tower 28. This is in shade number 15. It is a hydrating serum based concealer, which I typically use for brightening, but it is good to keep your under eyes hydrated even if you have oily skin, because your under eye skin is the most delicate, thinnest skin on your face. And after putting on layers and layers of makeup, you can wear down your under eyes and cause a lot of creasing and buckling of your makeup. And for the Tower 28, I normally do not let that one sit just because it is for brightening. Moving on to powders, I am going to use two powders this time. I know I normally just use one Huda. I'm going to try and use two for this look. The first one, this is the Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder by Huda Beauty, and this is in Kunafa. This is the color I originally started out with, and then once she brought out the Cherry Blossom powder and definitely the Peach Pie, oh, those won me over. So I started using those more. And I'm going to apply using the same damp beauty blender. And for up top, I'm going to use, this is by Real Techniques. This is a contour brush. I know there was a brush, probably this one, if not this one, very similar, that a few years ago was like super popular. I literally just found mine. I'm like, oh, there's that brush. Why did I buy this brush again? So we're going to use it to apply powder to my forehead. Second Huda Beauty powder, also loose setting easy bake powder. This one is in Peach Pie. And this one I'm not going to bring all the way over. Just focus it right here. And now to set my entire face, I'm going to use by One Size Cosmetics. This is the Ultimate Blurring Setting Powder, and this is in shade Dark or Deep. Do any of you have any plans for Halloween? Are we going out? Are we staying in? Granted, you know, you celebrate. What are some costume choices that you guys have selected? Let me know in the comments. I feel like in the past few years, it's definitely not as heavily celebrated or commercialized like it used to be. And that could be for various reasons. I know I saw on the news that they were saying that people are just not spending as much because the money is not there. Like, it's not a major holiday. You know, people are literally saying like, look, I don't have enough for the costumes, for the decorations, for the candy, so we just don't do it anymore. And if so, that is totally okay with me. Like I said, it's not a holiday that I necessarily celebrate, but you know, I got invited out, and I'm like, if the admission is a costume, okay, I got you. And for my bronzer, I'm going to use the NYX Cosmetics Buttermelt Bronzer in shade Butta. I'm going to apply it using my Sephora Pro Bronzing Brush in number 80. I went out today just to kind of do some shopping, and I went into the city, and I will say I was very shocked at the amount of people in costumes that I saw, which I literally could count on like one hand. And I mean, granted, where I live, like the past few years, I would see people going out in groups for like parties and whatnot. I can count on one hand the number of costumes that I saw. And going back to where I live, I almost questioned if those were costumes or not, or if that was just how people are getting down. Moving on to my eyes, I'm first going to prime them using the P. Louise eyeshadow base, and this is in number 5. I'm going to apply it using my finger. So for my eyeshadow look, I kind of went back in the vault. I'm using a Holiday Edition Mothership palette from Pat McGrath. This was her Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana palette. This was the one that I was like, oh dear, Pat has snapped. Because with this one, we got so many mattes that were not pink, that were not gold. I absolutely love this palette. And I will be so honest, sometimes I get nervous when I bring out palettes from the past, because I feel like a lot of times when you all watch videos, you want to see what's new, what's new, what's new, what's new. Not necessarily what always is still working, what is still usable, or, you know, fresh ideas with previous releases. So I tend to keep these to myself after only doing so many videos, maybe 1 or 2 videos on them. But for the sake of the look I'm trying to go for, I really have not seen any palettes that came out recently that I'm vibing with for what I'm trying to pull off. Everything has been rather neutral, warm, earth tones, kind of everyday looks. This palette is not giving everyday, not in the way I'm going to use it. So there's that. So I am going to first use this shade here as my transition shade, and I will be applying it using my Morphe M504 brush. Yeah, this holiday palette, I was like, oh yeah, Mother is in her bag, because this palette was everything when it came out. I heard a lot of people, oh, well, the holiday palettes, you know, the pigment is not there. I'm not sure what palette you guys are getting, because these shadows are just as pigmented as her more pricier palettes. to do is apply a little loose setting powder to my under eye area, just in case there's any fallout. Hopefully there will not be, but you never know. So now what I'm going to do is take this purple shade here, and I'm going to use a Makeup Shack T64. I'm just going to pack my brush with it and apply it to, now come on, tip. That's not pigmented. And this palette at the time was all of, I want to say $75. Apply it to the outer portion of my eye. Packing it, and then just kind of whisking it up a little bit, kind of diffusing it as I go along. So now that we have it perfectly where I want it for both eyes, I'm going to take this pink here and put it right next to where we applied the purple shade. And the way that I'm applying my shadow, this is also a way you can apply your everyday shadow. It doesn't, you know, have to be like Halloween. This was one of the first ways I learned to apply shadow, especially having a hooded lid. A lot of the color would get lost in the fold of my lid, and then I started feeling intimidated wearing shadows because I felt like I couldn't pull them off like everybody else because I had a hooded lid. So wearing it like this was a great way to still be able to wear multicolored shadows and actually have it seen. Especially since a lot of us with hooded lids are afraid to utilize this space up here. We stick primarily down here and all the shadow gets lost in the fold. Let's do this one. Shade here, and I'm going to apply it using a Morphe M224. Take some water. Using my Morphe M224. To apply it. Okay. Here. Okay, so what what I'm going to do, I'm thinking, should I do something up top or should I just leave up top as is? I'm going to leave up top as is for now. And what I'm now going to do is repeat the same pattern to my under eye area. So in the front where I applied the kind of frosted blue shade, where I applied this shade here, I'm going to take a royal blue eyeliner by Juvia's Place just to the front portion. Just right there. I'm not going to drag it over. Because what I'm going to do is layer this shade back on top. But hopefully applying this eyeliner, it will make it stand out the way that I want it to. And then in the back portion, I'm going to take, this is a Ulta Beauty gel eyeliner in shade Halo, which is a pearl white liner. I'm just going to line the back so that the other shadows have a vibrant base to help them stand out. And now using a smudge brush from Morphe, this is a M272. I'm going to work my way back to front. So I'm going to take the purple shade and apply that here. And not too much. Not too much. Now I'm going to move on to the same pink shade, this one here, and apply that. I just kind of wiped the purple shadow off, and now I'm going to apply to the middle. And then lastly, the vibrant blue shadow. And since this one is more shimmery, I'm going to be extremely careful and use a thinner brush. This is a Morphe R42. Forget which collection this one is from. Perfect. Oh, it came out exactly how I wanted it to. That is awesome. And now we're going to move on to blush, because I'm looking at my SD card and it's like, girl, you really pressing your luck. I'm not trying to, so we're gonna speed this along. And now moving on to my blush. The blush I will be using, this is by Patrick Ta, and it's in She's Vibrant. This shade here. Where is my blush brush? Where are you hiding? Here you go, perfect. And for this one, there are two formulas. There's the cream pomade and then the powder. I primarily use the powders. So that's what I'm using is powder. For the lip, I'm not going to go as dramatic. I'm just not. I'm just not. So I'm going to use, this is by Charlotte Tilbury. This is the 90s Pink Lip Cheat Lip Liner. And then to fill it in, I'm going to use by Juvia's Place. This is a gloss from the Coffee Shop collection in Creme de Cacao, the Cape Coat Cacao. It'll be down here somewhere. And then on top of that, also from the Juvia's Place Coffee Shop collection, this one is in Brown Sugar. All right guys, so this is the final look. Off camera, I applied what feels like the most heaviest, voluminous lashes ever in the world. If you like lashes like this, I am not hating on you, but they are heavy. Thank God this is for Halloween. But anywho, the lashes are by Allure. They are called Volume and Curl. Rightfully so. So here is the reason that I put together this eye look. I am going as, get it on, get it on. I am going as a unicorn. Yes, she has her little horn, and she also has exaggerated lashes, which is why I have them on. I'm gonna give you guys a full body shot so you'll see exactly what the whole vibe is, but if you can tell just from here, these are some of the colors that I applied on my eyes as well, or as close as I could possibly get them. So again, I'm going to insert a full body image somewhere in here. I gotta take this off before my sweating in this suit, since I'm indoors, will put every one size product I use to the test before I leave for the party. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys are going out for Halloween, please be safe. Watch your surroundings, enjoy yourself responsibly. And if you are not going out, I totally understand. Just be well, continue to stay safe, exercise self-care. It is not a privilege, but a necessity. Make sure to check on your strong friends after you check in with yourself. And until next time, we shall chat again soon.